Cake pops are a fun treat, whether it be for a children's party or for adults. And these are a great way to involve the kids in the kitchen. So let's start with a hot milk sponge, which is the base of the cake pops. We need to melt some butter and some milk. And while that's heating, let's get on with the sugar and the eggs. And we need them to be really, really creamy. So I've got some caster sugar and about 4 eggs. And I'm using the wire whisk to start off with so they really get nice and fluffy. Our eggs and sugar are beautiful, fluffy and creamy. Now we need to sift the flour with some salt and baking powder, and it's about 2 cups of flour, a little pinch of salt, and about a tablespoon of baking powder. Right, so we add all the dry ingredients. And I change my beater to the K beater because now it's a heavier mixture. Just gently fold that in. And the last thing to add is the milk and the butter. So it should be heated, not boiling rapidly. We'll just pour that in. The last thing to add is a little bit of vanilla essence for flavor, and beat on a low speed just to combine it. I've greased 2 layer tins. We'll divide the mixture in half and spread them in evenly. They'll bake for about 25 to 30 minutes on 180 degrees. The second part of this recipe is the butter icing, which binds the cake pops. It's very simple. It's butter, some icing sugar, some milk, and we'll beat that first before we add the vanilla essence. To get a really fluffy butter icing, the longer you beat it with the K beater, the fluffier it gets. And that's all there is to it. And that's our butter icing done. I'm going to set that aside and get my cooled cakes. My cakes are cooled, so all we need to do is crumb them in a food processor and add the butter icing. The smaller the pieces, the quicker it goes. Right, now we need to add the butter icing, and just enough that it binds, because all we need is to bring it together to a ball. So we'll pop a little bit in here. Right, that looks about right. I've got a little egg tray, so it holds the shape and it keeps them nicely. Roll them into balls, not too big. Pop them into your egg tray. Try and keep them a similar size. So we'll make just enough for a beautiful display. Okay, perfect. I've melted some chocolate in the microwave, which helps secure the stick in the cake pop. Just dip it a little bit and then push it through the middle, and then they stay upright perfectly. The most important part of this process is to get the cake mixture really cold so that when you dip it into the melted chocolate, it sets immediately. So we're going to need to refrigerate them for about an hour. Now the last part and the fun part is to dip them either in dark chocolate or white chocolate. So they've set, they're quite cold and that sets the chocolate faster. Make sure that you dip and swirl while you're dipping to coat it completely, and you're going to need to let that excess drip off. So what I like to do is just let them stand in a glass like that, because then the excess will drip off onto my paper. And you want to make sure that you coat the very bottom where the stick goes in as well. And then you just want to keep going until you've got them all covered. So the next part is to simply put them in some Oasis so that they stand up perfectly. They display beautifully. There you go, and just for something whimsical, we've got some fairy hair, which just gives it the final touch. So you're going to just want to tuck that in between the sticks. It makes it look fun and beautiful and shiny. And there you go, perfect for a party and a gift in itself. Need an easy way out? Try Snowflake's range of easy mix products. From pancakes to waffles, muffins and scones, you'll always have the perfect mix.